single gem away from the countdown, although actually this next gem spawns on Sky Blue side of things, which means that if they can get to 8 gems, they could definitely interrupt the countdown. Naruto going in as the bats. Naruto finds 1, finds 2, and that's 16 gems sitting on Naruto. The snowstorm can definitely be great at forcing out some odd rotations for the bot, similar to a Sprout Wall. You can see Abdo getting into positioning to do that, and the bot rotates around. So far, no damage dealt. And this is a problem. The bot is low HP. They need that push to come true. And it seems like SK, they're not quite going to make it, as they have an incredibly clean defense stuff. But even then, look at that. Black Sea, I'm not sure why there was an elimination after 1/10 of a second, but it's still going to be a call for Blood Diamond sort of control. But it's a little bit late. Don't get a couple of bolts in the pocket, and the bot is defended quite well. Rafa actually, I'm not gonna say this was calculated, because he definitely expected to take 1 less hit than that, but it's a good pick against Science's Roughs. Turret is gonna be annoying for sure. Can't quite keep it healthy and alive though. Far slightly for Bunker, but nothing too worrisome just yet for OS. Where it gets a little bit more worrisome is the fact that they're behind by 2 cents. And that means that they need those games to go their way. This is not exactly speeding it up, at least. Hopefully they don't defend and the siege bot goes through, and then we'll see what the decision is from the admins. But not great. Definitely not great. Don't love waiting for 5 minutes between games and then just a 1 Rosa, I think, but we do have a Rosa. I'll take it. I'll take it, and the rest is mostly 10 combos, to be fair. And yeah, that's a goal. I don't really...
Brawlers! The showdown will make history! Best teams from Russia, Ukraine, Poland, France and Turkey. Winners of the Open qualifiers and top 8 invited teams will meet in a final battle for the champion title and a bounty of $10,000. Join the stream on December the 7th. Don't miss out on the epic international group stage of GameStars Brawl Stars Season 2.
Welcome back here for the final day of the GameStars Season 2 international group stage. We're almost done with our different groups. We had the first day of decider matches. Now it's time for the second batch, the 3 last decider matches here in this season. One of them was already played out. We'll get to there in detail a little bit later on, but this is Group E here. AC Milan Clash coming out on top with some clean sweeps across the board against both Lixa and Scarlet Stars, which turn out to be the 2 teams facing each other here in the decider match. So FA Scarlet Stars versus Lixa Esports is going to be one of our first matches of today. Eden Esports, sadly, the French team, will be going home. They just got 1 set against FA Scarlet Stars, but could not confirm any against Lixa Esports in their elimination match, and therefore will be going home empty-handed. But FA Scarlet Stars versus Lixa Esports is definitely going to be an interesting match to watch. 2 maybe more on the underdog side of things, but you know, that makes a great match because they're matched great against each other, and that's definitely going to keep things entertaining for us. Moving on to the schedule and results here for today. We already had a bit of a tease here for the standings between FA Scarlet Stars and Lixa Esports in that group, but there's also going to be Final Stand Esports versus Tivium, and last but not least, Palm Angels against Escobar Knockers. So different teams from all kind of different countries, definitely keeping things fresh and interesting, and I can't wait to see who is gonna qualify at the end of the day. There's a lot of possibilities that open up here. Some of those matches are really closely matched, to be completely honest with you guys. In a match like this one, for example, I'd say that on paper, FaZe Scarlet Stars maybe slightly ahead, but it's very hard to tell, and that makes it a lot of fun. You know, back in the days I was casting tons of scrims and all that sort of stuff, and those are definitely the kind of teams that we'd see in the scrims, right? Not those two specifically, but it does show that those teams, it's really hard to read them because we don't get the chance to watch them play quite as often. They don't make it to most tier 1 events this far, and they definitely didn't make it this far in the BSC. So those are all factors to take into account when we try to analyze this and try to dissect a little bit for some more information. We know that our information is not complete, and that leaves a lot of secrets and possibilities to shine here for both sides. So definitely interesting stuff coming up here. That means, you know, there's less research that can come in place because they don't know each other quite as well as some other teams that have been on broadcast on this many shows day in and out. So maps and modes here for this first match are going to be Gem Fort in Gem Grab, Dry Season in Bounty, Dueling Beetles in Hot Zone, Nuts and Bolts for Siege, and finally Sneaky Fields in Brawl Ball. Keep into account that once again, because I am solo casting, I will be here interacting with chat. So if you guys want to just say hi or want to have some more conversations, talk about different results, predictions, or what you expect to be happening today, I'd love to get your guys' input. Always makes it a lot more entertaining. Looking at the different popular brawlers, but as well at the rosters here. Angel 10s, Raze, and Reliable are going to be playing here under the banner of FaZe Scarlet Stars. Elixir Esports are represented by NBC, Winaxi, and Delhi. Both teams have had their fair share of fans when we were casting their group, especially on Elixir Esports side of things. Hopefully those fans will be there cheering for their success here today as well, because they might need it. They might need it. Some of those guys, it looked like they didn't really have anything left in them at the end of a couple of those matches. They need to have that big refresh and kind of forget about what happened. Still trying to learn from it, but not really focus too heavily on the negative side of things. The bans are already coming true as well. Buzz for FaZe Scarlet Stars, then Elixir Esports coming true is the Spike ban, which is a very contrasting difference. On one side, more of an assassin tank, close range kind of brawler. On the other side, kind of a counter to those sort of brawlers. So interesting to see those two banned out here first. We'll see what bans number 2 are going to be for both teams. But Lola here from FaZe Scarlet Stars is very much standard, and a Crow is definitely much more interesting from Elixir Esports point of view. Not entirely sure why a Crow ban would come true here. I feel like they do have something specific in mind from the matches we've seen, and this is what makes me quite excited also about this day of the decider matches, is that those groups I've had the chance to cast for the most part. So I have a little bit more of an idea of what to expect because I saw them play. I saw the level that they brought in their respective groups, and I feel like it gives us a little bit more of a full opinion on what to expect here. But yeah, the Crow ban is definitely on the more interesting side of things. I feel like it has to be something that is very carefully planned out, and that they have a specific strategy around it. Now, is it more around the anti-heal or the slows? I'm not entirely sure, but let's give a look at our head-to-head here between Angel 10s and NBC. Trophy-wise, it's definitely NBC that has been pushing ladder a lot more, but if you look at the stats, it's interesting for sure. It's Angel 10s with a lot more kills, but also a lot more death, and damage-wise, it's very much on Angel Tense's side, but as I said, kind of hard to compare because they may not exactly have played as many matches or against the same caliber of teams. So all that stuff you need to take into account, and I wouldn't really look too deep into this, as I think we need to focus a bit more on the day-to-day performance and form that those teams are ready to bring in here if they want to make it all the way and secure their spot in the playoffs. It would be huge, and they are in groups where, honestly, maybe a little bit more on the luckier side of things, where they don't have the toughest opponents. You know, some of those groups had very, very fierce teams in the decider matches, and that obviously makes it very tough for their opponents. But in this case, I feel like it's definitely on the more balanced out side of things. Although, once again, I feel like FA Scarlet Stars for me would be slightly ahead from what I've seen from their past performances as well over time. I feel like FA Scarlet Stars have shown me a little bit more to work with, but Lixa definitely had their moments as well, so I wouldn't be shocked to see them pull off a clutch victory here and make it through to the playoffs either. I think they have the level and talent to do so, and they're close enough match that it's definitely a competitive match, and we can expect a lot of different possibilities. But personally, I feel like Scarlet Stars just narrowly edge out Lixa. There's only going to be one way to find out. Obviously, a lot of pros tend to say that in Brawl Stars, you really need to look, on the day-to-day form, on how are those players playing today. It's really hard to make some very well-rounded predictions all around, and anything can happen. We've had quite a couple of upsets already this season. We had some last season too, and we'll have some in every future season if there will be some. So it's Brawl Stars. It is a game that is quite volatile. Blind picks and the blind bans make it so that there is definitely that possibility for some big surprises, and I think that those two teams are not going to be shy to use that to their advantage, try to catch each other off guard. And as I mentioned, because they're not necessarily tier 1 teams that have been on stage in front of everyone that many times, that means there's a little bit less footage as well to look at if you're trying to analyze, see what kind of comps and brawlers they tend to lean towards. So it can be a little bit harder. But at the same time, it also means that there are teams that are around the same level, and they may have scrimmed against each other before. They may, know each other a little more than I expect. That's a difference as well, compared to something when a team faces a tier 2 or tier 3 team faces a team that is, in the top of tier 1. Sure, they've watched them a lot and they have a lot of footage to look over, but they didn't really get to scrim against them all that much. Now, let's get straight into this game. And we already see the mirror matchup for the Jeans mid, the Roses as well, and the only difference is going to be Tara versus Ems, but they're not sharing the same lane. And on paper, the Ems should be able to shut down the Roses quite consistently. Angel Tense already on 6 gems. Not too much to worry about on his side. Deli's very low HP, is going to get pulled, but Reliable doesn't care, pumps his super, gets a sweet double kill on the right hand side. Race doesn't even need to confirm his own kill, can just sit by on the left side, keep that pressure up, and Reliable is single-handedly just getting kill after kill. That's 4 in a row there before getting shut down. Angel Tense, that creates enough space for him to secure that countdown and start looking towards a quick first game win for Scarlet Stars. And that pool is going to be missed as well, and since the Shadow is there to heal his teammates, it's not really going to be hunting down Angel Tense, is it? Alright, a quick first game. Efficient FA Scarlet Stars coming in hot and coming in very, very scary here for Lixa, right? They did not give them any space to work with, and sure, I do feel like the Ems pick was better overall, but at the same time, it was so one-sided. Such a strong start there from Scarlet Stars, and if they keep it up like this is going to be a clean sweep. definitely showing some signs towards that direction. Now I think that Lixa, they need to adjust the Terra pick, but I wouldn't be sure that Scarlet Stars wouldn't bring in something a bit more proactive and try to change their picks as they move on to the next game. And I feel like this could definitely be the case here, you know, and this is something that you can do in general in a best of 3 to try to catch your opponents off guard. And when I say best of 3, I mean in a set, right? The whole match is a best of 5, best of 3, best of 5 sets, best of 3 games in each set. But in this sort of scenario, I kind of like it when teams sure they have the better comp, but they still proactively try to go for something different and do some small adjustments or even some drastic adjustments getting into game number 2 so that Lixa can't get a fresh read on them. But it's not going to be the case here. Scarlet Stars is going to stick to their guns, and on the Lixa side of things, they'll be bringing in the M's instead of the Tara, and instead of the Rose and the Meg. So far, it's not been exactly paying off, as the Meg hasn't had her super yet. We'll be able to find it now and start having a little bit more impact. Although it loses half its HP very early on, and Reliable is gonna take the other half out. And sure, it'll seem like there are a little bit less skills and Lixa stands a bit more of a chance. Problem is, Angel Dance is already sitting on 7 gems and only needs 3 more to start a countdown and potentially close out that first set. We see pushing forward, gets a swipe onto Reliable, but not enough to secure the kill. Reliable still alive, healing up. Magic Puffs definitely helping speed that process up, but Angel Tens gets caught off guard. They weren't aware that when Axie had his super available, and that's a big deal because he leaves with 4 of Scarlet Stars gems. Swipe from MBC just after Delhi's pool, and this game is completely turned around. Countdown now for Lixa. Although there is a pool available. Oh, that's not even close. That is not even close, and he definitely had time to get a better angle. Look at this, they're locked in now. But kills are coming through here and actually make it a team wipe. Reliable and Agent Dance, they run away with the gems, stealing that countdown, and it seems like the Amps for Lixa has given up. They know this game is over, but honestly, it didn't have to be. There's a Gene Pool available, and the Max Super, I don't know. I feel like, you know, unless it might be a connectivity issue, it's a bit of a shame because there was definitely a chance here to still turn that game around, and now it's just a set for FA Scarlet Stars. And it felt like Lixa, they had some chances here. They really did. They really did. A little bit of mistakes on both sides. That's for sure. I do think that Miss Pool from Scarlet Stars was a little bit scary because they knew they would get a strong pinch with the Rosa with super, and they should be able to just, you know, isolate a player, pull him in, and basically make it a free kill. But yeah, it still worked out, right? But that's the kind of things where those mistakes, if you don't get punished for them, you might start catching some bad habits and thinking, yeah, it's fine, I can get away with that. But against some better teams, they definitely won't. And they'll need to work on that stuff even if they win this match before they get to the playoffs. But in the end, a win is a win, and in this case, 2 wins are 2 wins as the first set is secured by FA Scarlet Stars. Nice kill lead. Damage-wise, it's actually very close. Only 42 damage setting both teams apart, and that's a very, very small amount. Not a lot of stuff can deal 42 damage in the game, to be fair. So it's very, very close damage-wise. But once again, kills, damage, all that stuff, it definitely matters, but it matters the most when you put it towards completing the objectives. In this case, getting gems, interrupting countdowns, securing a countdown of your own, and defending it off. And FA Scarlet Stars definitely worked that out much, much better. Tri-Season is going to be up next. And there, we could maybe expect a little bit more thrower action, especially with the Buzz band. Buzz is quite a popular brawler on this map. Could be replaced though with something like a Mortis or a Daryl. Can fit some fairly similar roles across the board, especially if you can still pair it with a Poco, which is not banned in this matchup. It could still be something very much viable, but I do feel like the Buzz ban opens up a little bit more space, perhaps for throwers to shine and for some more traditional comms, something like, you know, a Ruffs and a Tick, and then either a sharpshooter or another thrower. That is absolutely on the table here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that come up. But at the same time, and this is something that can be quite fun when watching some of those slightly lesser skilled teams, is that you don't really know always what they bring in. And look at that here, the B and the Bell on the Scarlet Stars, and we'll see a double tank Mortis for Lixa. Definitely keeping things interesting here. NBC does get shut down. That Mark and Deli is going to be problematic. That means that committing now to a fight is going to be a very dangerous process for him. Ray's trying to get reset on the heels there, but they get a nice crossfire with Angel Tense, or basically block out any of the different accesses. That's gonna shut down that push from Lixa before it even begins. A 4-star lead now in favor of Scarlet Stars. Delhi still marked up. Oh, and that charge shot hits like a truck. So low HP, but still alive for the time being. It's gonna be hard to get a full-on push until the Mortis loses that mark, but they do manage to find a kill on Angel Tense. Reliable is gonna go down next, and NBC wants to pull out of there ASAP. But now he got out of the way. Won't be surviving on for the time being. Though it does get marked, sniped down, and there's 15 seconds left. That gives the lead back to Scarlet Stars. Lixa need a strong final push here. But it's gonna be tough getting through the tick heads, the slows from the B, and Benaxi once again not really moving there. But the taps are on point on Scarlet Stars side of things, and they make it 3 games in a row. They make it 3 games in a row. I don't know if there was an in-game noti or what's up, but a lot of people popping up in the chat. As I'm solo casting, I'll be more than happy to interact with you guys in the chat, have some conversations, and chat around with you guys. So if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, I'll be happy to talk about it together, guys. But welcome everyone to the stream. We have had already quite a couple of days in this group stage. We are now at the decider matches for the second batch of groups. So we had groups A, B, C, D yesterday with all of their decider matches, and now all the decider matches for groups F, G, H are going to be played out today. And we're getting to it immediately. Group E played as well. May have forgotten to mention that. Welcome everyone. 1-star lead for Lixa, as they do manage to find a kill after Scarlet Stars have to extend for that blue star, but trade is there at last, and Angel Tense is gonna bring back the lead in favor of Scarlet Stars. It's a bit of a stalemate, but it's the moment where they try to build up some supers, get that extra HP with the Ruffs, try to come in with a strong push, shut down Scarlet Stars. It's been 3 games in a row now for the Ukrainian team. Angel Tent's only Russian player on that roster. 2 other players as well as their stand-in, all Ukrainian. For Lixa's side of things, it's a mostly Turkish roster. And time is starting to tick as Lixa need to make a push, need to make a play. And oh, a bit of a mistake on the bottom there. Scarlet Stars giving away 2 kills that absolutely should not have happened. Angel Tent's getting hit by that tick head. Could have destroyed it, but didn't quite get through with that idea. And Lixa are gonna take away this game in the end. It was a bit more of an interesting one. I mean, I mentioned earlier in Gem Grab that there were some mistakes here and there, even from Scarlet Stars, although they did get the 2-0 sweep in Gem Grab. It seems like the mistakes are starting to get punished a little bit more here in Bounty, and often they do. Often they do. In Bounty, the objective is a little bit more simple, right? I say all the time, kills, damage, all those stats, they're great indicators, and sometimes you can just read a lot through that. But in objectives that have, you know, control and some other aspects to it, it's a lot more complicated than that, right? You need to find kills that help you move forward towards completing the objective, towards winning that game. In this case, in Bounty, getting kills and surviving is very much all you need to do, right? It sounds simple, it's a lot more complicated to play out. But here, it does seem like Lixa, they punished some of those mistakes and definitely will be happy about that. First game on the board here for the Turkish roster. Let's see if they can keep it up like that. Maybe start building a little bit more momentum on their side. But they were a little bit quiet so far, a little bit more luck here, and also had to play off some mistakes from Scarlet Stars. Can they rely on those mistakes coming in every time? Probably not. Probably not. So definitely need to be careful, because those freebies are going to be coming in every game. So definitely need to be a bit more careful here. But this is now a chance here for Lixa, because sure, it's also a set point for Scarlet Stars, and they could make it a second set, and that would be a bit more of a disaster scenario here for Lixa. But the possibilities open up here for Lixa as well to start that comeback early on, tie things up immediately, and move forward from that. The possibility is there, and now they just need to convert, make sure it goes in their favor. And we do have the double tank Mortis comp this time around in Scarlet Star's hands, except instead of the barrel, and they're going to be bringing in the BB, and I like that quite a bit. Delhi falls to Angel Tents. That's first blood, and was the blue star on their side as well. Means that Scarlet Stars start things off with a sweet 3-star lead. One trait from the Ruffs already in there for Winaxi. Pretty standard and typical to put it on the tick. He's gonna deal the most damage consistently over time. They managed to shut down Raze, but not without losing MBC. And now potentially Delhi as well. He does survive. Angel Tents takes quite a bit of a hit, and Raze there is to go a bit more aggressive, because he knows that even though he could get pulled and give 2 stars to Scarlet, that wouldn't be quite enough to give them to Lixa, I meant. That wouldn't be quite enough to give them the lead. Lixa trying to find some tags here and there, reload a couple of those supers, and get them ready to go to war. That stun is going to connect on the tick head, so can be destroyed now. However, a little bit less cover there. Raze going to get the bats in, but not a lot more value than that. Lixa still need to make a push for it. Still need to find some kills. They'll find one now. And with nearly everyone buffed up, besides the Ruffs himself, this could absolutely be happening here. Angel Tents going for the gadget. Does not really connect. That is gonna be a trade, but the blue star is in the hands of Scarlet. and therefore so is the second set. All right, they do make it work in the end. It was close, it was very close, just that blue star. StarCon was tied up besides that, but Scarlet Stars make it yet another game, and now there is actually a bit more danger here for Lixa, because that hope, that momentum they were trying to build up and trying to interrupt from Scarlet Stars, I'm not sure if it is. I'm not sure if it is. And that's going to be quite worrisome, being 2 sets behind now as well. Definitely don't want that to happen in a match like this, where you have everything to win, also everything to lose. They grind for those playoffs, for the international finals. That's where the money is at as well. But for that, they need to win this match, and Lixa, they're starting off with a lot of problems. Told you guys earlier, this match is fairly balanced out, but that FA Scarlet Stars, I believe that a little bit more potential. Look at that, same amount of kills here in Bounty, but just a 1 star making the difference for Scarlet Stars overall, even though they did get quite a bit more damage. This is gonna be an important set for them to pick up, because although it is closer than what we saw in Gem Grab, it is still in their favor, and the games are going their way, and ultimately that's what matters, right? 2 sets now for FA Scarlet Stars, and Lixa cannot afford to make any mistakes at this point. Dueling Beetles is going to be up next for some sweet hot zone action, and we'll see what sort of comms they're looking to bring in here. I'm not entirely sure what their plans are going to be around here. I mean, we saw them willing to bring in quite a couple of tanks across the board, so it's definitely possible that they would want to bring in some tanks here as well. It can work, but the problem with tanks on Dueling Beetles is that you have some strong tank counters that are quite meta here across the board, M's notably, but a lot of other stuff works as well. But we will see a quite tank heavy matchup here, actually, especially on Scarlet Stars side of things. So far it seems to be working out quite nicely for them. Lollipop Drop finally runs out. Reliable popping his super, trying to get Winaxi out of the way, but Winaxi is able to stay patient in the corner, heal out, and survive. And now the team wipe gives full on center control to Lixa. And Scarlet Stars, their early start is going to be helping on as Scarlet start building up those percentages slowly but surely, taking a bit more of a lead. However, it's only Angel Tents left alive, and surely not for long, as NBC finds him at last, and another team wipe here for Lixa clears things up. A nice super from Delhi helps him find Reliable. It's gonna calm race down on the left-hand side, and Angel Tents will be also dissuaded from overcommitting. But this is an important fight now, because whoever wins this one might as well win this entire game. NBC falls next, and it's only Winaxi left alive, still sitting in the zone, 5% left. But Scarlet are catching up. The stun doesn't connect, and oh, look at that, just barely taking the victory here. And very much thanks to that sneaky Leon staying in the zone and capturing it while being invisible. You love to see it. You love to see it. That was a sneaky play, but it definitely paid off, and Lixa will be happy about that. Don't want to give away a match point immediately, but still, it was a close game. It wasn't exactly a dominant performance, right? Yes, he reads chat, but he has delay. Yeah, there is delay in between the time I will read it and between the time you guys will see it, so take that into account as well. but I'm happy to read out the chat as much as I can. Obviously, during games, I'll be focusing on the games very much, and if I feel like I need to analyze something, I will do so as well. But especially, you know, if we get some time games and we have some time, I'll absolutely try to chat with you guys as well. So welcome everyone. I'm guessing from an in-game nodie. I wasn't exactly aware of it, but I'm glad you guys can join in. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. I see some Dutch people in the chat as well. Nice to see you guys here as well. I'm part Dutch myself, so welcome. But I've seen a lot of different languages being spoken as well in the chat. And it's lovely to see the international representation behind the Brawl community. But yeah, I'll try to interact with you guys as much as I can. As I said, in the limit of possible as well, obviously. But yeah, Leagues are creating a little bit more space for themselves here. It was getting out of hand, and now they have a shot at actually making it, you know, past the set and try to start creating a little bit more space and a little bit more confidence, because they need a full-on reverse sweep here. They need to come back big time, and that's not going to be easy. But they're setting themselves up for success so far. It's a clutch win, and we had someone in Bounty earlier, but they need a little bit more consistency across the board, because winning one game in a set, it's the second time now. It's not been enough so far to actually convert and make it a whole set. That's going to be the next step here, and I'll be patiently thinking about the best comp to do so. 100 sneak? Yeah, that Leon definitely got 100 sneak. Nice play by that Leon. Yeah, that was a really cool play. Don't see it every day, you know. A sneaky little capture that makes the difference. Especially when you had like, what, 3 players in the zone? At least 2 players in the zone. Petition for Teddy to rap? No. Maybe if I get invited for like some sort of a Brawl Stars rap, I'll consider it. But just like that? That seems like too big of a commitment. And I don't think it's going to be worth it. I don't think it's going to be worth it. Not for me, at least. Not for me. All right. Game 2 in Hanzo. Once again, it seems like Scarlet Stars have a slightly better early game, but rather quickly they start getting shut down, and I like the looping. I think it's fun. I think it's fresh. And most importantly, I think it's working so far. A lot of control here overall for Lixai, and a big head start. But they lose a player. They lose 2 now. And Raze will be frozen in the zone. Doesn't stop him from capturing it. And Scarlet Stars are not that far behind now. Problem is, those kills coming true. Bats there from Raze is trying to chain them. Doesn't quite find a connection on the second ones. At least not the double connection for sure. Reliable pumps his shield. Will still get melted down. Angel Tens doesn't really get a chance to do much, and this looks like Lixa will be picking up a game of their own. Oh, not just yet. Not just yet. There's still a lot of catching up to do here for Scarlet Stars, and not necessarily a lot. Problem is, they don't really have a lot of room to play with, do they? And here you have it already. As Lixa make it a game, make it a set. Finally showing up in the scoreboard and keeping the match a bit more competitive. They have other languages streams, Russian, French, etc. That is very, very true. I can actually confirm for you exactly which languages are available if you guys are not necessarily the most comfortable with English. Right now, the Russian stream is up, as well as the Polish stream. So if you guys are from Russia or Poland, make sure you check out the GameStars channel, as you will be able to find those streams in your language as well. And as an extra side note, depending on the days and who is available or not, there are a lot more languages available as well. I believe usually we have Turkish and French, maybe even Italian, I'm not entirely sure, but there's quite a couple of different languages. So if you guys want to watch this for the next week, because the playoffs are going to be starting on Tuesday, and that's where you'll see the biggest names like SK, Tribe, AQM, Totem, and so on, as well as Navi for you Russian fans. Make sure you guys check out and subscribe to the GameStars channel, because then you'll be able to see those other languages for the future broadcasts. As I said, just for today here in this last day of the group stage, there's only Russian, Polish, and English, where you guys are right now, by the way. So make sure that, yeah, if you guys want to watch it in French or maybe in Spanish or whatever not, you guys check out the rest of the channel. There will definitely be streams in more languages for the playoffs, for the international finals. And if that can help you guys have a bit more of an understanding of what is going on, that is absolutely the best choice for you guys. Nuts and Bolts is going to be up next. This is going to be for Siege. And Lixa, they start building up a little bit more momentum, a little bit more confidence. We'll have to see if they can drag that over to Nuts and Bolts. But so far, it seems like they're showing some good signs that a comeback is possible, that they are capable of it. Now they need to pull through and actually go through, is it? Angel Tense on the Gil gets punished quite early on there. Deli was that super able to find a lot of value. NBC also rocking the Gil. Was an early gadget mid there as well, keeping the Mortis away, and that bolt is going to be secured by NBC. The first bot does go to Scarlet Stars. Mortis going to be helping out quite a bit towards securing that initial bolt. But TLX have a fairly healthy bolt economy as well. A little bit of damage coming through there from Reliable, but he does go down, and means that Winaxi might get a little bit further into the mid than he would have otherwise. Scarlet Stars will have to reevaluate later on if that push and death was worth it. Great super from NBC is going to take down Reliable. That super, by the way, thanks to the latest Brawlers changes, is very much going to be buffed, dealing a lot more damage than before. Now we have that level 7 bot pushing up from Team Lixa, but Scarlet Stars have those Gil gadgets ready to deal with it, and it doesn't take a very long time for them to clear it up and start working towards that mid retake. They need some more bolts. They're in a decent position. They do need those bolts, and so far they're being picked up left and right by Team Lixa. Their economy getting very healthy now, and that final bot surely going their way. Now, it was a perfect defense earlier, by the way, from Scarlet Stars, and that might be the saving grace here for them. But now it's a level 9 bot. It's going to go even faster, hit even harder. And I don't think they have the utility to deal with it. Barley Slow definitely helps, but Winaxi is going to get his super true, and surely this is going to be enough here as Team Lixa make it 3 games in a row, and now they're just a single game away from pushing things to a 5th and final set. Interesting. Interesting. We had some slight signs of lives here and there in the 2 first sets, but not really anything mind-blowing from Lixa. But it seems like they're finding their groove. Maybe the extra little boost of audience helped with that. Tick is annoying, but I can deal with that special over Lou's basically dead every time. Lou is in an okay place. I mean, it's very specific to maps where you need, you know, that very wide control. It's not necessarily the strongest control, but it covers a very wide area, and it's very, very good at, you know, working around that. You do need your teammates to be helping you out, and that's, you know, one of the reasons you see it maybe a little bit less in something like ladder, because your teammates, chances are your randoms are not going to be helping you out, are they? So in competitive, it's very strong right now. In specific, especially hot zone maps and modes, and I like it quite a bit. That tornado hack is sick. I gotta try that. Well, it's very strong at the moment. It was played, I believe, by Latam at first, especially INTZ. They brought it in during the BSC this year, but during the year, Gil got buffed more and more and more, and by the time we got to Worlds, it was already in a pretty okay place, and the team that really popularized it was Zeta Division. They brought it in countless times in Siege, even in a couple other modes, especially to try to deal with the tanks. Something like a buzz that, you know, grapples onto you, super him away. Just super him away. And ever since then, we've seen it a lot, and it got buffed again. A super now deals 600 damage, I believe, instead of like 300, something along those lines. So it's very strong now. It's very, very strong. You can do a decent amount of damage. You can have some nice crowd control and basically funnel your opponents throughout the map. Make sure they aren't able to access certain positions. Hey, can I play? Well, right now we are quite far into the tournament, obviously, but if I were you, I would make sure you check out the GameStar website. If a third season would be announced, that is where you would be able to register. So you always want to make sure you're ready for when that happens, so you can lock your slot in and get competing with your teammates or friends. First mod is going to be a tie here. And ties usually increase the volatility of the game quite a bit. So far, both economy is very similar on both sides. Neither team's really outshining the other just yet, and that's a little bit scary. Especially considering the team that doesn't get this bot is gonna have a huge bold lead for the next one. However, this is gonna be a pretty large-sized bot for Team Lixa, and they'll have to make sure they find as much value as they can off it. But it's pushing pretty much alone with just MBC nearby, and when Axie not far behind, not exactly in position to provide that much support, and the bot gets taken out before any damage comes onto the Ike, and that forces Delhi to dive because they know they're not getting this bot. That's the problem, they know it. They're already 11 bolts behind, and that's just going to be stacking up furthermore. And now Lixa will need an almost flawless defense. And that's a level 14 bot for Scarlet Stars. And all they need is 12% damage. That should be a breeze any day, especially with something like a Barley. Should be able to play around his range to get the damage despite the toxic pedal that's in the way, and that's going to be just about enough. And it's not by a long way, but it's by more than enough here. Scarlet Stars at match point. And Team Lixa now need to seriously worry. And sure, they're just a game behind, guys. They're just a game behind, tying things up, pushing things to that 5th set, getting the full-on reset, and continuing that reverse sweep. They've been they've been really trying to get, right? It's been hard. It's been a grind for them to come back, but Now, reality kicks in, and Scarlet Stars, they're coming in here with a match point in hand. Lixa Esports have no room for mistakes anymore. They need this next game to go their way. If it does, great. We go to set 5, we get the reset. If it doesn't, it's GG's. And that's a bit of a do or die situation for Lixa at this point. We'll have to perform at their best to make it happen. They've shown us that they have the talent and the skills to make it happen. Question is, will they? FA Scarlet Stars, on the other hand, they want to shut this whole thing down before we get to a 5th set. Don't want to risk it. Don't want to give the space and the hope and the momentum to Lixa Esports. If Lixa win this, they'll come into set 5 with some momentum as well. Knowing well that they were behind by 2 sets and that now it's a fair game. And they brought it up on themselves to get there. Let's see. On the Stars race on the Mortis, gonna be very much uncontested for that first ball. No brawler here able to be nearly as fast, and that kill is definitely gonna help keep that Bolt in that position, but the Storm is gonna disappear before MBC gets close. The Super could have maybe kept him away. It's gonna be a tie, and we saw in the previous game, those ties are very scary. Leaves a lot of time for this preparation phase. It basically means that if Scarlet Stars can find a couple of bolts, they'll kick things off with a pretty decent lead coming into the final preparation phase. BC falls, but Reliable isn't able to bank the bolt. Instead, is going to go to Team Lixa. Great kill from Raze on the right-hand side. And this bot, it's not a question of who's getting it, but how big they can make it. For Scarlet Stars, they need that defense to be on point. They also need to make sure they get as many bolts as possible for the next round. 6 secret on their side, compared to the 3 for Team Lixa. Defense is clean, and with both the Barley Sticky Puddle as well as Angel Tense's Snowstorm, it's hard to attack in that situation. And Team Lixa, they know about it, don't want to risk it. They want to play for the final bot, and so far they're getting punished for it. 2 kills going their way, only 1 in favor of Team Lixa, and it only leaves MBC quite low HP, almost dead in fact. And now this bot surely is going the way of FA Scarlet Stars. All they need is 1% damage. Bit of a dive comes through, but it doesn't find a single tag on the Ike. And 1 shot of damage would be enough. Bot is taking so much damage, but yeah, that Gale Super is gonna do it. And we have a bit of a message there coming true from Scarlet Stars on the left-hand side. I love it. I love that. I'm not entirely sure who they were shouting out to. Was that for a player from Lixa? Let me double check. No, I think he may have been showing just his own name, wasn't he? Because it was only something, right? I want to double check that. Oh, for Russian caster. That's what a production is telling me. Okay, it's a girl. That might be why. Okay, we're a bit of a player here in the FA Scarlet Stars. Love to see it. Love to see it. I thought there might have been some teasing or something like that towards another player. Would have been quite fun as well, as long as the message remains, you know, civil enough. But it's not. It seems to be towards a female caster from the Russian stream. That's funny. That's funny. That second bot for TLX got melted so quick. Yeah, I got annihilated. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good performance from Scarlet Stars. far from flawless. Definitely were some mistakes here and there, and I mentioned it earlier. They would be punished more against a tier 1 team for sure, but a win is a win, and they'll be happy about that. And despite it all, it's a lot more kills, and those are in favor of Lixa, despite the damage advantage for FA Scarlet Stars, and obviously the set and match going to Scarlet. But I think that the overall stats from this matchup are going to be showing some slightly different results, as overall Scarlet did win quite a couple more games than Lixa ever did. I'll give them a look here, and actually it's still Lixa ahead in kills. Interesting, ahead in damage as well. And there were some close games for sure, but that shows once again, and this is something that I can't stress enough, but getting kills is nice, but you need to capitalize off your kills. A kill needs to give something to your team, right? It needs to give more control, which should help you realize the objectives. And it seems like FA Scarlet Stars have done a much better job at that. Not only that, obviously something like tanks can be influencing that quite a bit. They might die before they get up close and give a lot of damage to their opponents. All that stuff. But guys, that's already one match over for this evening. We'll have 2 more coming up. We're almost done with the group stage here at GameStars, and I'm looking forward to some of those next matches. I have one particularly in mind. We'll get there in a bit. I'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes right after a short break.
Hello, I'm Roll and I am the coach of AC Milan class.
Cześć, jestem Michu, jestem kapitanem drużyny Poco Loco. Przybyliśmy tu, żeby się dobrze bawić.
The minimum to get is 10.
Jest 10 klejnotów, jednak warto mieć o jeden więcej od przeciwników.
Yes, I really like the heroine BB skin.
Tak, oczywiście jest to przebranie z 2020 roku. Mam go, jest przepiękny.
Okay, I will say that this 6.
Jest 8 epickich zadymiarzy.
In Royal Rumble, I think it's 3 minutes.
Musimy przetrwać przez 2 minuty.
Right now is 30.
Niedawno nastąpiła zmiana i w klubie teraz może być tylko 30 członków.
Right now there are 52 brawlers.
Wszystkich zadymiarzy jest 52, posiadam je wszystkie.
I think it is 2800.
Nie mam pojęcia, od razu go wymaksowałem.
Welcome back, everyone. We have one decided match here behind us. Actually, that's already, what, 6 in total. 2 more to go, and then we're done with the group stage here at GameStars Season 2. My name is still Teddy, and we got some more matches to get through. Final Sandy Esports versus Activium, definitely gonna be a fun one here. I think both teams have a lot of talent, have shown a lot of great things, and I'm looking very much forward to this match. I believe we do have to look at some highlights from Group F before that. I'll wait for it to pop up on screen, and here you have it. So just for context, we were not able to watch this live due to some stuff happening behind the scenes, but this is what was going on during that Group F. We did have a final stand against Golden Age here. It was a couple of clutch victories here from Golden Age, definitely making it a bit of a pain for final stand. And it seemed like it was going to be over here. Damage coming through on the bot, and they have the final push for Golden Age. They weren't quite able to close it out. Or were they? Seemed like they were. Seems like they were. I thought the defense would be on point in the end. But they did make it they did make it work in the end. Tivium versus Golden Age. Tivium, the French roster. We had some more teams in that group as well, looking particularly at XO, one of the fan favorites. Lost, I believe, 1 set to final stand, and I'm assuming here it's Bounty, but might not be. Oh yeah, they lost 2 sets actually. All right, that's close. That's really close. Almost dangerously close, but XO did win in the end. They did secure their spot for the international playoffs, and that leaves us with final stand versus Activium in this decider match, as Golden Age did sadly lose to Activium in the end in the elimination match. 3-2, a very, very close and tight match, but that sends Golden Age home as Activium get to have a final stand against final stand. See what I did there? Wow. All right. But this match is definitely a pretty good one. I feel like both teams are in a similar spot. And if you look at their scores against Golden Age, couldn't be closer. The only difference out of the group here is that Final Stand did manage to win a set against EXO Free Agents, whereas Activium couldn't quite win any against EXO. So that taken into account, maybe Final Stand were having a bit of a better day. I'd say that on paper it's a match that is really hard to analyze. Definitely really hard to analyze. Just looking at our schedule and the results we've had so far, I faced Scarlet Stars. If you guys missed it just earlier, I had a 3-1 victory against Lixa Esports. Final Stand versus Activium is going to be the match starting off in just a couple of seconds, as Palm Angels versus Escobar Knockers is going to be the final match of the day. So Final Stand, all British players. G-Gem, the Irish player, and Exams, so was not able to compete here, leaving a Sings their manager to stand in. Maybe a little bit of a weakness over there, not as good as G-Gem, no offense. But looking at our maps and modes, Minecart Madness in Gem Grab will be where we start off. Sneaky Fields in Brawl will be right after. Shooting Star in Bounty is next, and then Bot Drop and Safe Zone will be our fourth and final sets if we get to them. And honestly, looking at this match, we very much could. Let's give a quick look at the rosters as well. Final Stand, it's Kanan, Tom, and Sings. As I said, G-Gem not able to play. Before I look at the roster for Activium, we do have the bans coming true already. Poco is going to be the first ban here from Final Stand. First ban from Activium is Lola. So far, not the biggest surprise. I mean, typically Poco is, a bit more of a confidence ban, but at the same time, it is just a really strong brawler, and that has to be said. So I don't mind Final Stand getting it out of the way. On the side of Activium, Lola still in a great place. Sure, there was a little bit of a nerf, but it's not that bad. And actually, we'll see a double ban for Lola, as they are blind bans. So we say first ban, second ban, but they all happen at the same time. They don't know what their opponents banned either, which means that those double bans are possible, leaving us with a total of only 3 bans in this match. It's gonna be Lola, Buzz, and obviously Poco. So those brawlers out of the way. I mean, it does leave some space for some brawlers like Meg that we've seen shining quite a bit so far throughout the season, and many others. Honestly, I just feel like Meg is one of the bigger names in the list. So the roster for Activium, 3 French players here. That's Safe Ship, Tom, and Orlando's, and then 1 Spanish player, that is Arturo. So for the most part, French versus Brits here in this matchup. Definitely gonna be a fun one here, at least for banter. But a bit of a head-to-head between Sinks and Save. As I said, Sinks the manager typically for Final Stand, but a good player himself, still actively scrimming and making sure he's playing at a good level. Can he perform at the level of Activium and of his teammates in Final Stand? Might be a bit of a challenge, and this could be a weakness that Activium spot and are able to exploit. At least that's how I would approach it, right? If you know that one player should be a little bit more of a weaker link, you can try to make sure that you punish him as much as possible. Find some openings on his lane and then move on from there. Go for some pinches, help clear out the mid, etc, etc. You guys know the story. But nevertheless, as I said, he is not just a manager that doesn't compete at all. He has competed before, and he does actively practice to make sure that he has as much as possible of a level at the game to be able to compete here, right? So it's gonna be a tough match. I would say that in general, I might slightly favor Final Stand, but considering Sinks is in the mix, I feel like Activium might actually out-edge them. It's really hard to tell. Activium has been a team on the rise as well. They've had some great performances here and there, some performances here and there as well. So it's mostly going to be depending on the day. And honestly, I'm talking a lot about Sinks because it is a bit of a special thing, right? When you have one of your star players not being able to play and your manager has to play instead. It's not exactly the same situation as any player just being there. So definitely want to share that information and make sure you guys take that into account. But we'll see what the final result is. And so far, comp-wise, we're looking at some fairly standard stuff. I think the Pam mid is probably the fanciest of what we've seen so far. Not really a brawler we see on Minecraft Madness mid a whole lot. Usually, if you had a comp like this from that, a comp like what we see here from Final Stand, you'd expect the Sprout to be on the mid. Seems like Lane is gonna be his choice here, which is definitely an interesting decision. I mean, it's gonna work out well against Spike. Sprout is a great counter against Spike and can find a lot of value over there. And we have a Tom versus Tom matchup. And that's definitely gonna be good fun. Just missing Tribe Tom now. But Final Stand Tom is gonna get marked up. And that's not exactly ideal, especially as a gem carrier. That means that you are gonna be very weak to some quick bursts of damage. Safe is forced back. Tom goes in for the jump. Orlando's is gonna fall to the poison. Tom is very low HP, gets sniped down by Safe. Tom is not really gonna be able to find too much value besides that. And Red Tom is gonna fall with all the gems. Safe is gonna be next to go down. Orlando's gets jumped on by Sinks. The man himself, we expressed, or at least I expressed, some of my doubts about him, but he does make the plays when they matter. But then also, he dies to the bell bounce of the healing station. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. A win is a win, and Final Stand kick things off with a good first game here. Definitely a fairly close one. It did seem like Tivium had the upper hand at some point, but a great team play overall. I mean, first of all, the Sprout for Final Stand putting in a ton of work. That was Kaden, I believe, and Sinks also doing a terrific job at getting those jump-ins and right timings to really open up a lot of space for his team. So far, so good here for Final Stand. Tivium are gonna have to go back to the drawing boards, trying to find some alternatives, perhaps comp-wise, some adaptations, but this was definitely a bit more of an exotic comp, I would say, from Final Stand, not necessarily in the brawlers themselves, but more in their combinations and where they were played. Because it's very rare that you see a Pam mid on Minecraft Madness and a Sprout on lane. Both of those happening are very, very rare, but seeing it happen together, I just can't recall seeing that before, to be completely honest. I just can't recall seeing that before. What is the best brawler in the game? Highest win rate? I don't know if you mean the game in general or for GameStars. From the top of my head, I believe that the highest win rate was Rico last time I checked in GameStars. So take that with a pinch of salt. Obviously, the sample isn't as big as if you look ladder in general, you know what I mean? All right, let's get to game 2 here for Gem Grab and for this match overall. And we'll have the same exact comp from Final Stand. Except that this time around, dealing with the Frank is going to be a lot more complicated than with the Spike. HP-wise, it's a whole different story. It's triple that, pretty much. Sinks with a jump in on Safe. The Crow still going to be a great pick against the Byron due to the anti-heal. Not sure if their plan here was to get Kanan mid, but he's rotated over and I think it makes sense. Sinks accidentally picking up that gem, not exactly what he planned, but he did plan that assassination onto Orlando's, and he will make it work as well. Tom going for the next gem, and that's going to be the countdown starting for final stand. Orlando's does have a super, pops his gadget, doesn't find a connection. Tom is mech'd up, but very low HP, a single shot, and that mech is out of the way. That wall is going to block him off, getting back to his normal state, and that means that there's very much nothing he can do at that point. And final stand, take the first set here against Tivium. Was that Tom from Tribe? Did he leave? No. Here you have another British Tom playing for final stand. He used to be called Mr. Tom, by the way. You might know him as that, but is not Tom from Tribe. And then we have French Tom playing for Activium, which obviously is not French. It's not Tom either, so keep that in mind. Don't think casters hate more than two players with the same name. I feel your pain, Teddy. It is pain, but what do you guys prefer? Tell me in chat. Do you guys prefer if I call them French Tom and British Tom, or Red Tom and Blue Tom? I feel like Red Tom and Blue Tom is a little more straightforward, but I feel like French Tom and British Tom is kind of funny as well. Although British Tom could also be Tribe Tom. That's the only problem with that. What do you guys like more? You guys tell me in the chat. Keep in mind that I'll be reading through chat, trying to interact with you guys, but there is a little bit of delay between me talking and you guys hearing it. So I read you guys out as soon as I can, but you might not hear it immediately. You might have to be a little bit patient, and obviously I can't get through every message either, especially if there's a lot of people watching and chatting. But stats wise, pretty straightforward. More kills, more damage, more control, more gems, more countdowns, more wins. That is kind of the end of the story here for this gem grab set between final stand and Activium. We'll see what we can expect from them in set number 2, and Activium are gonna have to wake up, because so far that seemed to be a little bit underwhelming. Sneaky Fields and Brawl is gonna be where it's next. And here maybe we'll see some Rosas abusing the speed gears as much as possible in the bushes, or some counters to it as well as a preemptive measure, or maybe something completely different. But I do feel safe about those Rosas. Let's see if they bring them in. No Rosas for Teddy. Orlando's is very low HP. Tom has a good angle, and that is a wide open goal. Safe can't get there in time. I won't be able to save that goal from happening. Final stand, starting off with a rather early lead. Sinks takes out Tom. I'm not sure if he wasn't moving or what happened there, but he did go down. Orlando's is next, and Safe does have the charge shots done from Sinks Connect. Follow-up kill comes in next, and Sinks is hungry for some more praise. Slows Connect there, jump in from Kanan. Sinks finds the follow-up, the stun as well on Save. That was a nasty play from Sinks to close out that first game of Brawl Ball. Wow, we don't get Frank clips every day, but that definitely was one of them. That definitely was one of them. How does it feel to talk to your computer? Well, typically that's kind of why we have two casters, right? But we can make that work for the group stage. We will be co-casting Ready, Set, and myself for the entirety of the international finals. That's going to be starting on Tuesday, so you guys want to make sure you tune in for that. I'm giving all my energy. You can hear it from my voice. I've been giving everything I have here for the solo cast, but in the duo cast, I can be more hyped up without having as much of a strain on my voice, because we can kind of, relay on relay the different moments, right? And spread them across the show, so that we are able to get more hype while hurting our voice less. Because now it's been, what, 5 days of casting? Of solo casting, pretty much in a row. And my voice feels it. But it is great experience, and I can test my limits a little bit more. And if you guys know me, you'll know that I don't want to do half beep job. Alright, Sync's moving forward, just running through the M's and getting the kill as well. Gadget to do so, but Safe is able to get the trade. Safe gets a nice 3K shot, but it's gonna be a little bit too quick on the next one. Can't quite predict Kanan's landing accurately. Therefore goes down without hitting that 3K shot. Tom has a super. That is definitely going to be slowing things down. Tom takes a lot of damage, but Sinks was a pull in as well. The double stun from Sinks, not that it matters too much at this point as final stand score, no matter what. Orlando's pushing up, does go for the super, but Sinks is able to get a nasty pull, and he's been insane on that Frank so far. I've known Sinks for a long time, and I was underestimating him. But he's been absolutely cracked so far, whether it was the Crow and Jam Grab or with the Frank here in Brawl Ball. Jump in from Kanan is gonna go down, but not before hitting a slow, and every single player from Tivium and Sinks is still in the mix, still looking to make something happen. The stun doesn't connect on Orlando's, another slow there, but Orlando's just barely manages to score through that defense. 25 seconds left and overtime is on the menu. Tom with some great possibilities on the top right, but does get shut down a bit. Falls short and tries to ensure his survival. Sinks gets a stun on Orlando's. But now the question for final stand is, can they protect? Can they defend? As overtime kicks in, Wolves are out of the way. And Tivium have some pretty good angles to try to score. Charge shot, and yup, that goes right into the right corner. And Tivium at last secure a game. Not the easiest, but they did make it work. They did make it work. A bit of a struggle. A bit of a struggle to get that first game on the board, but better sooner than later, I guess. Better soon than later, and they do make it work in the end. Now they can start contesting that Brawl Ball set. Try to make it 1-1 in sets and really have a match ahead of us before things slip out of their control and Final Stand takes a 2 lead. But we're not there just yet, and that 2 lead is still very much on the table as well, as Final Stand have been looking, in my opinion, quite a bit better so far. However, as I said, I thought the teams were very closely matched. I even thought that Tivium might be slightly ahead coming into this matchup. So maybe they just need a little bit of time to wake up and get the machine rolling. But there's only going to be one way to find out, and that's the next game. Nice that you will be in duo. I'm very happy about it too, Cousin. Although I'm genuinely, I mean, I much prefer duo casting, but I also thought that solo casting was a good opportunity for me to practice it, because I've done it on my own channel, but it's very different being, you know, on a third-party community, not quite community event, but you guys get what I mean, on their own channel and own branding, and have to work around that with quite a bit of production and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun to get in a slightly less comfortable situation to practice my skills and hopefully improve. That's kind of what I'm looking for out of those solo casts. But we got the next game of Brawl Ball. Safe goes for his super, doesn't connect the slow onto anyone. Tom, low HP, that super from British Tom will end his life, and this leaves a strong push there from Final Stand. Make it a goal already. And 40 seconds is all it took for Final Stand to take the lead and to start shutting down that momentum that Activium started building up after that previous game win. Things pushing forward, does get interrupted during his attack while he was using his gadget, but this time around there's no saving Activium Tom, and this surely is gonna be the goal here from Final Stand. Closing it out, a bit of a celebration on the left side as well from Sinks, and that's gonna be 2-0 for Final Stand. Only a set away now from knocking out Activium and securing their own spot in the international finals. I'm new here, so what's this? This is a third-party event, so it's a community league for Brawl Stars. I'm guessing you're coming here through the notification in game, so you're very much aware of what Brawl Stars is. We play a best of 5 sets, so 5 different game modes. Each game mode is played in a best of 3, so the first one to win 2 games of the same game mode wins that mode. First team to win 3 different modes wins the match. And right now we are in the groups phase. It was a double elimination bracket, so everyone has 2 lives, and this is the decider match. So those are the teams that either win and qualify for the international playoffs, where the money is at, where the glory is at, or you lose and you go home. It's harsh, it's tough, but that's decider matches for you, and that's why they are so much fun as well. Thanks for casting. I really love watching rather than playing. It's my pleasure and honestly my honor. And I'm glad you're enjoying the show so far. I'm glad you're enjoying the show so far. I didn't say hi to you, by the way, Cousin, but if you guys don't know Cousin, he's the French caster for GameStars. I believe taking a couple of days off. Don't have more details than that, but always nice to see in the chat. Super chill guy. Super chill guy. And what's up, Devianch as well? This guy was giving me some company in chat on some of the more quiet days. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. All right, let's give a look at those stats. I mean, pretty night and day stat wise, and sure, there was a game going to Activium, but overall it is a very, very big contrast between the two. Almost double the kills, more than double the goals, and not that much more damage, but still a significant enough amount where it does feel very much like Final Stand deserved that Brawl was set. Now, Bounty might be a different story, although on paper, it does feel like, you know, those mirror matchups could go the way of Final Stand. Absolutely, and this might be a trio. I thought this would be the closest match today. And so far, it hasn't really lived up to my expectations. Now, I think Final Stand have been playing excellent. I'm more a little bit disappointed in Activium. I feel like I expect a bit of a higher level coming from them, but every team is gonna have their off days, and this could be one of them for them so far. Although they're not out yet, and they definitely still stand a shot, they do need to start popping off now. Because it's a best of 5, that means that if this set is picked up by Final Stand, it's gonna be GG's. And Activium will have to deal with their grief. Great kill there from safe, but he does get taken out anyways, and when the math adds up, Final Stand come up with 1 more start. Healing station popped by Sinks on the right hand side. Tom gets shut down once more there on the side of Activium. Save does get Tom. Will go down himself, and if Sinks falls, which he nearly does, a bit of a risk there, but he didn't really have too many places to run to. It's gonna give enough stars to Activium to sure be tied up, but blue star gives them the advantage for now. Orlando's very low HP, everyone low HP there for Activium. But Final Stand, they're not capitalizing too much. I mean, they'll leave Tom alive, the rest goes down. He'll be there to live and tell the tale of how his teammates got massacred. Since it's very low HP, surely should get punished, but somehow he survives magic puffs, healing up quicker than you'd expect. And Final Stand are still quite pushed up, looking to keep the fight up. That healing station from Sing's gonna block off the peep. And with 8 seconds left, Tivium need multiple kills. And in this situation, I actually need to find Sinks as well, but he's too far back in Final Stand side of the map, and this is gonna be match point coming up now for Final Stand. A single game away now from qualifying for the international finals, and Tivium a single game away from dropping out of the tournament. First say cap is cracked at Brawl Stars. Well, I'll say cap, but with the delay, someone might beat me to it. With the delay, someone might beat me to it. Why did Nani use super after getting pulled, LMAO? Well, to be fair, he did get the kill, didn't he? If you talk about that instance, he did get the kill, right? I mean, he went down afterwards anyways, but did get that one kill. It was a bit of an odd play, but I respect the attempt. I respect the attempt. I played 24/7. I mean, Brawl is an absolutely amazing game. I played a decent amount myself. Kind of on and off, depending on the mood and the periods. But at the moment, I play daily for sure. I mean, Club League definitely makes me come back multiple times a week to make sure I get my Club League rewards. But here we have a bit of a different start. And sure, Tom is going to get pulled, giving 3 more stars and the blue star to Final Stand. But Tivium are still leading by 2 stars. Orlando's, though, is going to get pinched there. Final Stand do a great job at creating some space to find that opening. And right now, we are going to see 2 more kills going to Tivium. And that lead that Final Stand picked up, maybe they went a little bit too aggressive. Mispull from Tom follows up as well, and that's a lot of missed opportunities here for Final Stand to take the lead. Tom barely survives the peep. But the pinch could be fairly strong here. We've seen it work earlier against that comp. That wouldn't be the first time. The healing station is a problem. 2 kills, 3 kills. That's a team wipe. And Final Stand get 3 kills out of that play. Sings going back to create a bit of a distraction. Give enough space for his teammates to survive. Kanan was a well-timed phase shifter to tank that beep. But Tom is low, he falls, 18-18, but the blue star gives the lead to Tivium. Orlando's is low though, 3 seconds left, Orlando's falls, and that is gonna settle it, guys. Final Stand Esports are going to the international finals, and Tivium are knocked out and sent straight back home. GG's. Wasn't quite as close of a match as I expected, but Final Stand played amazing, and I feel like Tivium didn't quite live up to my expectations. And as I said, good days, bad days, that's a part of the game. In anything competitive, you will have some weaker days than others, and obviously some stronger days too. Seems like this was a little bit more on the weaker side here for Tivium, but Final Stand definitely doing great in this matchup. Not giving any chances here to Tivium, not ever getting in danger. And a couple of games getting a little bit close, but in the end it still felt like they had control. And like they had the stronger side of the bargain. Only a 2 kills difference, but as I always say, bounty is not necessarily always about getting kills, it's about surviving. getting the kills that matter. And despite having a little bit less damage, Final Stand did get those kills that matter and did get those wins. 3-0 in sets, 2-0 in this bounty set as well. And Activium, they had a couple of chances here and there, but couldn't quite capitalize more than that. Is this like a tournament or something? Exactly. It is a league that has been going on for a while with a lot of different stages, some regional and local qualifiers, as well as some wildcard qualifiers. At some point, we get here to the international group stage, and after the group stage, the 2 best teams of each group out of the 8 groups are qualifying for the international final. So basically the playoffs. And this is your final standing here. For Group F, you have EXO 3 agents making it out of the group, only dropping 1 set to Final Stand, which themselves get that trio victory against Activium. So Golden Age and Activium will be knocked out of this group. Final Stand will be moving forward with EXO 3 agents to the international finals. But guys, we have one more match to go here before we are done with this group stage. We'll have a short break, but we'll be right back for that final match. Hello everybody, my name is Teddy, and in this section we will go through some peculiarities of Brawl Stars. Let's see what I've got for you. Today in this episode, I am going to give you tips and tricks to dominate with Belle. Belle is a great brawler for mid to long range fights. She offers a lot of utility to her team with her traps and is a well-rounded sharpshooter overall that mostly plays mid. Her super is very strong against tanks, but don't be shy to also use it against your mid opponent to constantly have the upper hand. In a lot of situations, marking your enemy sharpshooter will require you one less shot to take them down, which will result in you winning many more encounters. Another great way to find value with her super is against siege bots. This will help you out melt down that siege bot much faster and is one of the strongest strategies in Siege. Belle's traps are great at blocking out rotations and preventing pushes. Obviously, since Belle is a sharpshooter, it goes without saying that she does best in wide open maps. However, her traps can still be very useful even if you have some more walls and narrow corridors, as you can just block off entire areas with your traps. Overall, Belle is the most complete and versatile sharpshooter in the game. She might not really be the best in any domains, but she's very good at everything. That's all for today. I believe that my tips and tricks will help you improve your performance. Brawlers, join our stream and watch how real professionals get it done. Welcome back, everyone. The group stage is almost over. We have one more match to go through. My name is still Teddy, and we are gonna move on to our third and final match of the day, the 8th and final match of the decider matches here in this group stage. Follow along. Palma Angels versus Escobar Knockers is gonna be up next. Now, Escobar Knockers, I know those guys pretty well. They are from the Netherlands and Belgium, if I remember correctly. I've been watching them play for a pretty long time. In fact, they were here in Group G, where they will be facing Palm Angels. Now, Big was in this group as well and dominated through trio sweep against Polska Guram, 3-1 against Palm Angels, and that's already more than enough to qualify for the international finals. Escobar Knockers had a tough match against Palm Angels, losing 3-2, but they do win their elimination match 3-1 against Polska Guram. This means they will be rematching against Palm Angels again here. So keep in mind, last time they faced each other, it was a 3-2 in favor of Palm Angels, but that was a extremely close match, and anything could happen here. Maybe a revenge story, maybe Palm Angels reasserting dominance. That's what we want to see here. Maps and modes, guys, for this final match are going to be Shooting Star in Bounty, Ring of Fire in Hot Zone, Hot Potato in Heist, Bot Drop for Siege, and Gem Ford in Gem Grab. And I see John mocking my peculiarities of Brawl Stars in chat, and I do not appreciate that. I'm just messing with you. Obviously, for goated players like you, this is of no use, but for beginners, I do feel like my tips could actually go a long way in understanding a little bit further why you should do this or not that. And yeah, basically it. But John, if you want to make the next peculiarities of Brawl Stars for me, I'll gladly accept it, my guy. I'll gladly accept it. All right. The rosters here are Razor, Goga, and Charlotka on the side of Palm Angels, and Scared for Lobby, Carol, and Lawrence for Escobar Knockers. Now, I know Escobar Knockers from some competitive events, more around, you know, local, regional Dutch stuff. I am Dutch after all, and from some smaller events, right? They've had a couple of times where they have had upset and beat some better teams, but not that consistently. And on the side of Palm Angels, I don't really know them all that well. Now, they are from Russia, which means that for a lot of events, they will be competing in ECA rather than EMEA, which I don't get the chance to cover quite as much. But it's kind of hard to estimate. I think that Palm Angels are a bit more on the ladder warrior side of things. I know a couple of the players from name, but that's about it. I haven't really seen them play all that much, so I'm looking forward to discover them throughout this match. Now, let's see. The bans are going to be Rico on the side of Palm Angels, and Lou is going to be banned by Escobar. Interesting approach here. I mean, on both sides, to be fair. Don't get me wrong, Rico is an interesting ban. It is definitely a strong brawler, but we don't see it banned a whole lot. It's kind of in that sweet spot where Gene was for a very long time, right? Gene was that brawler that no one banned and everyone played everywhere all the time. Sandy was kind of that brawler too for a long time. But Lou is definitely very unique. I'll get back to that Lou ban. We have Spike coming in as well from Palm Angels. Escobar going for Lola. Those are, I'd say, a little bit more standard, especially Lola. Very, very much a classic ban. Spike, a bit more interesting, might indicate either that you don't really want to be dodging those curveballs because that takes a lot of brain cells, or you want to make sure that your tanks that you plan on playing are going to be a little bit safer. So maybe something like that. Maybe they have a different meaning behind that ban. But the Lou ban is very unique. I haven't seen that in a very long time. I think I've pretty much only seen it on Best of Trees when you have a map like Ring of Fire, you know, in the first or second set, because you want to make sure you get Lou out of the way because it's really strong for that. But besides that, you don't see it very often. I'm gonna be honest with you, but here's the head-to-head between Razor and Lawrence. And for the most part, well, what scares me a little bit is the 103 death from Razor. That's the most death I've seen so far from any player in those head-to-heads. That's double the amount almost from Lawrence. And Lawrence has more kills as well, so looking a little better here, but 5-star players for Razor, so maybe he'll be the star player today instead of the one that dies instantly, like most of our randoms do. But guys, if you're watching the stream, it means that you're already 2 steps ahead of the randoms. That's straight up facts. That's straight up facts. All right, but yeah, I'm still shocked about that Lou ban. I do not know why. I do not know how or when they decided to go for it, but they did. And we are gonna have to deal with it one way or another, because honestly, I haven't seen a Lou ban in a hot minute. Escobar planning late game, apart from Siege. Hanzo and Lou isn't too good on most maps. Yeah, that's the thing, you know. I feel like in Siege, it's still like okay, but I feel like this could be something personal, maybe, you know. And I haven't watched this group play, to be fair. It was the one day this week where Redicent casted this part of the groups, so I didn't get to watch those guys play. And I feel personally, but I might be wrong, maybe if one of you guys watched their match earlier this week, you might have some extra information, but they played against each other. Palm Angels 1-3-2. Could it be perhaps because they brought in something like a Lou in Siege or in Hot Zone very consistently, and it worked really well, and Escobar had no way of dealing with it? Maybe. Because I feel like Lou is not really a ban that makes too much sense otherwise, right? Like, it's too risky to ban otherwise. You can tell me to start the game. Sadly, the game starts when the players start it. So you can DM them all on Twitter if you want. I encourage you to. I very much do, but I am in the same situation as you guys are. I wish the game starts immediately, but I have to wait for the players to ready up. And that's really just how it is. And before you say that on any other streams, that's how it is for any tournament for the most part. So stats points towards Razor being an aggro player, maybe plays more tanks aggro like Leon or Sandy. That is very much true, obviously. You know, it's just like when I analyzed the team stats, didn't exactly want to go through that, but you guys get the point in general. I talk about it as well, right? When a team has less damage or did deal more damage but didn't win the game or got more kills, often it indicates that maybe there were tanks on the other way, on the other side. But let's see, game is starting here, and we already have a really quick elimination from Palms. Escobar looking to find a way to catch up here. Healing station from Goga dealt with. So far, a bit of a stalemate after that one initial early kill. That was from a player from Escobar that was reaching for that blue star. Pulling to Goga, gonna get him very low HP, but he survives. And lives to fight for a bit longer, but so far, still not enough damage for any kills to come true. And the pull into Lawrence here might be the opening, and it certainly will be. They take him down, and I was scared. It's quite low HP. The movement speed from Carol is used defensively to flee. And tags keep coming true, and Escobar have been consistently lower HP so far. There's another pull available for Charlotka. Is gonna connect it. Scared goes down. And this is looking very much like Palms are gonna be picking up that first game. All right. I mean, it wasn't like a super dominant game, but it felt like Palm Angels definitely had the more control for the most part, and they had the lead for the entirety of the game nevertheless, right? There were some opportunities for Escobar here and there, but they couldn't quite capitalize, and Palm Angels were doing a good job at shutting them down before they could get in a dangerous setup and set things up to go for a strong push. Only a couple of pros that can actually consistently dodge curveball. Thing is, you can be good or even amazing at dodging curveball. The problem is going to be starting when someone else is shooting at you at the same time, and you have to focus on two different directions, and you can't quite put your full focus on the curveball. You know what I mean? That makes it very, very hard to deal with. It used to be very similar with something like Brock, where a lot of pros would say back in the days when the hitbox wasn't quite as big for the shots, when the radius rather, that's a bit more of an accurate word to describe it, they would say you have to change targets because Brock shots were very easy to dodge, but if someone else is shooting at you, at some point you're going to be stuck between two different shots and you have to run into one of them. And if it's a Brock shot, it's still a pretty decent amount of damage. So it's kind of similar here with curveball as well, right? I mean, thing with Spike as well, it's not just curveball that is strong about him. Also just his gadget. The cactus is incredibly versatile, so good in pretty much any situation. Basically doubles his HP even more, right? Because he can heal 1000 HP afterwards too. So it's very, very strong. Very, very strong. So I understand Spike. I feel like he's in a pretty decent place right now. In 1v1s, he's busted. In 1v1s, he's busted. We should come to their houses and press the ready button. FBI can't arrest all of us. I'm down. I mean, I'll be sitting cozy here and watching you guys solve my own problems, but I'm down for it, man. All right, early engagement once more. This time around, Escobar able to get not only the blue star, but survive afterwards. That's the difference with game one, where the player that went for the blue star ended up dying right after. Pulls available on both genes, but combined with the max movement speed, it's even stronger. Goga going a bit too aggressive perhaps, but Charlotka gets pulled. Razor's able to find the one kill, but that's where it ends, and that leaves Goga in a very awkward spot by himself. He knows he's not getting a kill, he knows he's not getting out of that situation alive, but he also knows that if he can reload his super a little bit, it can go a long way for the next push, the next attempt. and stealing those stars from Escobar. They're pushed up quite a bit, but that healing station is constantly keeping the health advantage in favor of Escobar. And Palm Angels can't compete with that so far. They need a pull for an opening. That is going to be a miss pull there from Scared. Pulls the healing station, almost costs him his life. Does go down to Goga eventually. The push is not too bad here from PA, but actually it's going to get shut down nevertheless. And Escobar strike back as they pick up the first game on their side. 1-1 here already in the first set. And it's looking fairly close so far here for this match. And I'm all down for it. I'm all down for it. By the way, Palm played Lou on Ring of Fire. Okay, fair enough, Banan. Fair enough. I mean, I think it shows... It could tell two different stories, the Luban, I think. You know, I said it earlier. Surely it has to be because they faced them or watched them and they felt like they couldn't deal with the Lu, right? But... Is it more a sign of confidence that they don't ban a really strong brawler because they feel like, sure, we'll win in a mirror matchup with that strong brawler, or we'll utilize it better, or we'll be able to shut it down? So that they're like, sure, we can ban Lu, and then it becomes a very strong ban because it directly hurts the comms that Palm Angels like to bring in without hurting, you know, Escobar's brawler pool and leaving weaknesses in the comms they plan on playing. Or on the other side, it could be a ban of kind of desperation, you know, where they're like, okay, the only way we win Hot Zone is if we ban Lu. And then it's a lot less confidence, right? Then it means they basically had to lock that one ban and basically sacrifice it, not removing some other brawlers that could be problematic. So I think there's kind of like two sides of the story, and I'm not entirely sure which it is, but I think the rest of the match might shed a bit more of a light on that question. And look at that. Blue star and first skill already picked up by Palm's Angels. 3 stars. There's the pull available on Charlotka. The healing station can help tank if Escobar need to. They want to hide behind some cover. Healing station is pulled. Gonna be removing those walls and that safe spot that Escobar were set up at. Goga pulled, but a healing station to stay alive. Kill follows, and once again in favor of PA, keeping the advantage on the blue side with those 5 stars secured and still 0 for Escobar. But Lawrence looking to make a change to that, finds Charlotka, and the gap gonna slim down a little bit, down to a 3-star difference now. Miss pull there from Scared. Once more, Charlotka has this pull available. And if he can find a target, he could make things very dangerous here, but he does end up going down. HP-wise, it's not exactly shining either here for Escobar. They do manage to find another kill. Can they all survive? It seems like they will, and that's a very clutch win on their side. Just barely managing to find that huge kill in the last couple of seconds, and then they all survive low HP, running around the radius of that healing station and staying alive, barely winning by 1 star as well. All right, Escobar Knockers make it work and steal that set. And that definitely has got to hurt for Palm Angels. No matter how stone cold you are as a player, how much ice you have in your veins, that's gonna hurt. And that's gonna be affecting you. For some players, it might be in a good way. They'll know that they should have taken it, they didn't, but that they absolutely can take it the next time. But on the other hand, it's a huge missed opportunity and their chance to start things off with the first set. Lou might counter their scrimped comms, says Devianch in the chat. I doubt it. I doubt it. I really do. I feel like it's too map specific for that in a best of 5. It's not like it's a brawler that is also playable on other maps and modes, right? You pretty much only see it there. Yeah, 40 HP. You guys are right. 40 HP. That was close. That was hella close. But the healing station was there. They could heal up. They could still alive, and they barely made it through. They barely made it through. And in the end, Escobar knockers, actually as it would be pronounced in Dutch, Escobar knockers, they take the set. And as I said, a bit of a steal. A bit of a steal. Up next is gonna be Ring of Fire, and that's what the Luban is gonna be important for. And what makes this very interesting as well is that possibly Palm Angels always play Lu here, because no one bans Lu. Even in a best of 3, it's very rare to see those Lu bans. So this could genuinely mess up their main comp for this mode, and then Escobar, if they are ready with something strong here, they might just take that set, sweep that set, and then it's 2-0, and then that Lu ban suddenly becomes genius. You guys know what I mean? I want to play with you, man. Well, make sure you follow me on my social media. It should be, nope, on the other side, somewhere right there. You can follow me on my Twitter. That's my Twitter. And I'll be announcing there if I go live on Twitch or something like that to do a stream, and I'll be playing with viewers over there. So you can check that out. It's the same on every single social media of mine. If you want to look for Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, all Teddycasts. Just type that, you'll find me. Welcome, Anis. Does that mean you're cheering for the Escobar Knockers? This comp is one of the most fun comps to watch. Do you mean the Pam, Jean, Max? We used to see it quite a bit on Shooting Star. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. Wait, are you saying I'm pronouncing it wrong, Banana? No way, no way. Now, my Dutch is far from perfect, actually. I'm native French, and Dutch is currently my third best language after English, so don't judge me too much, guys. Lawrence barely survives on the right-hand side, but PA still have quite a bit of control. However, the mag is not gonna stay magged up forever. PA are starting to really get a dangerous lead here. Charlotka getting a low HP in that mech, and it's gonna be getting weak again. Goes down. A nice pinch from Carol on the left-hand side as well. One is lane over there. Means that Escobar have the chance to slowly catch up. They're not there just yet. Healing station is definitely gonna be a problem. That pool is gonna get 2 birds with just 1 stone. Escobar took over the lead by roughly 10% now. Both teams are still fighting for that control. Low HP wise, it's close for the least. But Escobar getting close to the finish line here for this game of Hot Zone. Only need a couple more percentages, and surely that triple pull is gonna do it. Escobar make it 3 games in a row now. And this is when it's gonna start being a little bit more scary here for Palm Angels. Because sure, they've shown some great signs of life. They absolutely have. They have picked up some games left and right and had some really close games as well. But they need to convert them. Those close games, those clutches, those moments that matter, they need to turn them around to their side. And so far, they haven't been able to do this not nearly as consistently enough as they should, right? To win a match like this, especially when a lot of those games don't depend on that many different things. It's small details and small moments and specific plays that could have turned things around. In this case, Escobar Knockers are starting to build up some more momentum, starting to feel the game. And as I said, the Luban is problematic for Palm Angels. They didn't look as confident, and sure, they had a good start, but once they lost control, they were never really able to retake it. They just had it for a bunch of time. And that's the big challenge, right? In any mode that is control-based, it's not keeping control, it's not holding control, it's taking it. It's definitely easier to take early on before your opponents are in the zone. So a bit of a problem there. No problem, Anis. Welcome to the stream anyways. Hope you're having a good time. All right, here we go. And Escobar much more quick on the trigger this time around. Scared getting his mech really early on in the game. Much earlier than Charlotka. Owen's trying to deal with Razor, but he's low HP, not able to find a kill just yet. Charlotka is so low HP as well. And this left Escobar with quite a sizable lead, but not the HP to hold it. And not respect their opponents, give them the space. And rotate around. Wait for a good opportunity to retake. Opportunity seems to have arrived as they have full-on center control again. Razor has the pull. That's going to be a double pull, but with Scared's mech getting destroyed, the pull doesn't apply to him as it only did to his mech. He's able to survive it off. Has his next bot ready. Gonna pop it as well. Just waiting to get a couple of heals through. Razor falls, and now Carol is going to be instrumental in turning this game around because he has a super. Shadows placed down. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to deal with. Pool does connect, but it's not going to find that much value, all things considered. And Escobar back in the lead. And sure, it's not by a long way. But it's getting closer and closer to the finish line. And that's the moment where you need that lead the most. Lead back in favor of PA. Once again, it's close, but Escobar retaking some control. However, Charlotka's taking forever to get taken out. And with Goga pushing forward, this could be enough here for PA. And Razor is going to do it. Close game, but this time around in favor of PA. This match has been all mirror come so far. That's a very good point, Boppy. Very good point. I haven't necessarily had the time to pick it up, but please bear with me. Solo casting is not the easiest because you have to look at the play-by-play moments, make sure there's energy and some hype going. And at the same time, you have to try to find some details to analyze, and it's a lot at once, especially since I'm most used in general to be doing the more color casting, as we say, so the more analysis part of commentating. So it's a lot at once, but it's great for me to practice my skills, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity for sure. But yeah, that's close. That was close. 5%, guys, setting them apart. But Palm Angels are not done fighting. They want to contest this set as well. And this is an important one. You don't want to give it too elite to your opponents. And in the shoes of Escobar, they don't want to throw away their lead and let Palm Angels tie up. Trying to deal with all those mags. It seems like Escobar handled the situation just a little bit better. However, Scared does lose his bot eventually. So he does have it back available again now. But PA are back in the zone, able to take back that lead. Charlotka going for a pre-shot swipe on the right side. Doesn't find the connection he was hoping for. Does get this one to connect on the healing station, but at the expense of his life. Lawrence gonna get pulled. Razor able to capitalize off that and get the kill, and it seems like Palm Angels are doing a pretty good job so far. They have a pretty wide lead, and Escobar need a quick reaction if they want to turn around that game. That double pull could be exactly what they needed. Charlotka has low HP as well. Now Escobar, they'll get, what, 10-15% absolutely for free. But still, there's so much HP to work with. It's going to be hard to stop that lead, especially when those spools connect there from Razor. But he does get shut down. Another kill comes through, and this is quite huge for Escobar. They're only a couple of percentages behind, about to take back the lead. And Charlotka just has that 1 HP left. Razor falls. Charlotka is next to go down, and this is looking a whole lot like Escobar are going to be picking up this game unless the 1v1 is lost, and it is. 2% is all it takes here. Can anyone take that zone back? And what a clutch here from Palm Angels, turning around that game that seemed unwinnable, but they make it work anyways. Wow, what a game. It's 1-1 in sets, and Palm Angels are back in this match. That was close. And we talked, at the end of Bounty that it's gonna hurt to lose by 1 star and lose that star a couple of seconds just before the end. That gives the win to your opponents. But this is even more heartbreaking here for Escobar, and they're gonna need a lot of energy and will to process that loss and not let it affect their next set negatively. Just look at that. They're so far ahead, and that was actually the first game that Escobar picked up fairly comfortably. Second game was pretty close as well. Charlotka just didn't want to go down, and he stayed there for so long, getting so many different percentages for his team, which meant that his teammates just had to walk forward, get in the zone until eventually he could close it out. But look how close this one is. 98, 99, 100. They had 98 locked, and that final kill was huge. What a close game. What a close game. All right, 2-1 in the set here for Palm Angels. They are barely going to take the win despite having almost half the kills from Escobar. As I said, the timing of the kills are important, as well as being able to gain control out of them, make them worth more to your team. And kills are always, almost always going to be good, right? There's very rarely scenarios where you want to die. Once in a while it happens, maybe in Siege or in Brawl, depending on your positioning. But for the most part, you don't want it to happen. And here you're certainly happy with any kills. However, if you get double the kills and you still lose the set, need to be really careful. And it shows some bad signs. Hot Potato is going to be up next, guys. A classic heist map. Rico is banned, so that is going to be very much applicable here to this set. It's a very strong brawler overall, very well rounded, incredibly good here. You can play him mid, you can play him lane, you can do anything with him. You really can. So getting into this heist map, man, I'm not sure what to expect, honestly. Maybe something like a Bell mid. That feels like a pretty safe choice. Maybe a Barney on one of the lanes. Then you can bring something like a Stu, or try to, I don't know, go crazy. Bring in Edgar. Bring in some tanks. Also viable, absolutely. Maybe even a Colonel Ruffs could be brought in. The options are there. The options are there. The question is, what kind of comps are both teams looking to build here? As they've both been salty about the sets they lost, but they've also been very happy about the sets they barely won. If Scared would have swiped 1 second earlier, yeah, that could have made the difference. Absolutely. Bam, triple kill, yup. I mean, they were all pretty low, you know, but still, wild stuff. And we'll see 2 takes and an EBS on PA, 2 tanks and a Colette on Esco. So very interesting comps here. Colette used to be quite meta on this map, but his other brawlers have shined. Sorry. The interest in that brawler has gone down a bit, but look at that damage though. Holy, 66% in just a matter of seconds. That's quick. And the push doesn't seem to end, although the damage has started to be a little bit less significant. Razor still gets another almost 3k damage on safe, getting it down to 30%. Goga trying to create some space. Will do so fairly successfully. Gets a shot off on safe as well. Follow-up gadget is there as well. Scared, gonna dash through his face until he takes him out of existence. And right now we have an 84% lead with still a minute on the clock in favor of Esco, in favor of PA, sorry, and they have so much work to do. Scared with another dash in and another kill. Been doing a great job with those so far. Carol able to find the elimination onto Goga. Razor pushing up. The safe is low HP. He jumps on top of it, but he's not quite able to destroy it. And now Charlotka knows that if he can just super through the safe, it goes down. If Goga can get a shot through as well, it goes down. It's a scary prospect here for Esco, and there you have it. Charlotka closes it out with his super. And now PA are once more in the lead by securing that first game of Heist. Their chance to go 2-1 here in Sands, but I don't know if Escobar want anything to do with that. Might still be able to pick up that next game and reverse sweep the set. Who knows? It's been that close between those guys, but this game definitely was the biggest stump so far. Spike is banned, Amor. Just for your interest, Spike is banned. So that is not an option here. There are 2 bans per teams. We have Lola being banned twice because blind bans, right? So Lola is banned, Spike is banned, and Lou is banned. Was this match the... Yeah, wait. Was this match the double Lou ban? Or was it the previous one? It could be that this match had the Rico ban as well. I think Rico was banned too, right? Yeah. Rico, Spike, Lou, and Lola. So I was close enough, and I got myself right before I got confirmation. I'll take it. I'm proud of myself. Thank you, production, for confirming, by the way, because otherwise it would have been very awkward. But I am proud of myself. I remembered it, guys. I remembered it. We pick Spike against 2 tanks and hot potato. Oh, I already read that, actually. I thought it was a new message, but Nightbot distracted me. Nightbot distracted me. Ciao, Sergio. Welcome to the stream. I'm assuming you're just tuning in. PA gonna run tanks. You read that correctly, but to be fair, so did Escobar, so... If you had said either teams were gonna run tanks, you would have been correct, in fact. Triple tank would work better. I mean, it plays very differently actually, because with triple tank, you kind of all need to commit in a way and constantly arrange that save. With double tank, you have a little bit more room to play with, I feel like, in defense, right? With something like an Ems or even a Colette. You can do some decent work. Shut down those tanks. You're gonna be countering the other tanks more than if you play tanks yourself, right? That's kind of how I stand for that. Yeah, Devianch, I am aware. I just there's just a delay on the stream, right? Amber Lou Lola? I don't think those are the bands, Ennis. I don't think those are the bands. Lou and Lola, yes, but then it's Spike and Rico. But guys, here we go. Set point for PA. Their chance to go the distance, and this time around, we have some similar comps. The same one exactly, I believe, from PA. Oh, Carol getting a nasty kill there. This time around, the difference is for Esco Scared going for the Shelly. It's going to be a great anti-tank measure. And so far, it's been anti-tanking quite well. Carol taking a lot of damage, is going to get shut down, and sure, they managed to tickle the save a little bit through that push, but it's only 9% damage on that blue save compared to the 27 on Escobar's. And PR not looking to stop just yet, getting more and more damage down and getting Escobar in a dangerous situation. Carol going to be wasting his super, but he couldn't have known that back then, as Scared hits a pretty nasty shotgun snipe. And now finally for Escobar, some damage towards the blue save, but maybe a little bit late, considering there's still that 40% lead in favor of PA, and it just keeps winding up every time anyone gets close to that top part of the map. Carol going for the dash, gonna get slowed and not gonna cost him his life. Actually, I was gonna say it was, but he barely survived that. Scared for lobby, goes down to Goga, leaving a bit of an opening here for PA to push forward and find some more control. "15 seconds left. And PA push forward. This should be a breeze as they close this one out. 2-1 in sets now for Palm Angels, and Escobar are looking in trouble. They are looking in trouble. And that's the thing with the Luban as well, right? Their whole plan with the Luban was basically to have a free set of Hot Zone. I feel like at least that was their plan. And they lost Hot Zone by 2%. And that's going to be tough for them, because now their ban doesn't even apply to any of the modes anymore, right? Didn't hear either, to be honest. Definitely going to make things spicy. Basically playing with one less ban for the rest of the match. Perhaps it could have taken place in Siege, but right now in the meta we really just see Lou in Hot Zone. Daryl is pretty good at this game after the buff he got. That's true. He's gotten better. He was already starting to be played a little bit to fit some holes. When, for example, on dry season, you want to be playing something like, I don't know, a Poco and a Mortis and a Buzz, and say Buzz gets banned, Daryl will be able to cover, you know, a similar ground kind of, and have some similar mechanics to dash forward and deal some nice burst damage, if that makes any sense. So he's been slowly finding his spot in the meta. Stat-wise, once again, Escobar getting the kills, but not getting the wins. Bot drop is going to be up next. So potentially Lou could work out here, but it is banned. So even if it weren't, it's not the most likely. It's not really a map where you see it played a whole lot in competitive. As honestly, Lou and Siege is just not really that much of a thing anymore. Nothing counters speed gear tank, it seems. It's really tough to face, man. It's really tough to face. That was pretty good in this update after the buff he got, says Amar. That's very accurate. I don't think he's like insane, you know, but I think pretty good is a good summary, you know. He's playable. That's already something, right? A lot of brawlers are in general just not really playable. You don't really see them being played a lot, and etc, etc. All right, here we go. Set number 4. And that first bot is going to Escobar in a pretty dominant way without giving a single bolt away to PA. Siege bot taking quite a bit of damage. Escobar pushing up. 8%, not the end of the world, but we'll be happy with that small lead, especially if it doesn't cost them a player and they end up having a perfect mid-hold so far. Mark onto Raisin is going to be a problem, and yeah, Razor falls to Lawrence. Push coming through here for Esco, and PA still haven't picked up a single bolt. This is not the most convincing on their end. And this time around, there's quite a bit more damage pouring down on that Ike, and there's a rotation being blocked. I just don't really see too much of a world where PA take this game. Last bot is gonna go the way of Escobar as well, and PA finally started picking up some bolts, but a little too late. Escobar get this game in the bag as they get all 3 siege bots. And now the question is, can they win that next one, push things to a 5th and a final set? All right, a strong game. A strong game. Palm Angels looking pretty decent so far. Pretty decent so far. I'm looking forward to see the evolution here for the last couple of sets. Escobar are not looking bad either. Really not. They're just a single game behind at this point. They win one more game, they go to set 5. That's kind of the sort of situation we have at hand here. A close match so far, and I'm glad to have it this way for the final match here of Season 2 of GameStars group stage. Or maybe the sentence would have made more sense the other way around. PA can't push together, the Sprout wall being put after each defense. That's true. That's true. But then you need to find a way to adapt around it, right? Especially if you know he's gonna do it every time. You kind of want to find a way to rotate somewhere else with someone else where the wall isn't sitting. What's up, Anis? Hoi. All right, I'm excited to see if we get our first match point here in this match, or if Escobar Knockers can make it all the way to the 5th set. No, that's very true, Divianch. That's very true. It's been a close match. Both teams have been giving this their all, and it shows. And it shows. Let's see who takes this game. As we move on to that set point from Esco, their chance to push things to set 5. So far, it's just going to be the level 1 bot here for PA. That's more bots that have got it in the previous game. That's more levels than bots they've got in the previous game as well. Now, the Sprout walls are going to be great at just making the bot turn around, and at this point, they're finding a little bit of damage. If that means they're not tanking and they still have gadget available as well that they didn't use here, it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Razor is going to get tanked out. Lawrence is able to find the kill anyways. Nice kill there from Goga, but Lawrence is there with the trade. 5 seconds left until the bot. And that means that PA, they might actually have a decent bolt count unless they can't deal with scared. And so far that seems like it's very much the case. Well, not really gonna be helping too much, but Goga gets sniped down. That jumps down the bolt. And that bot was a draw, by the way. Forgot to mention it, but it very much was. And that is gonna make the final bot absolutely crazy. It'll be a nightmare to deal with. And 1% damage and you're out. Unless you manage to get a dive soon enough. Nice snipe, but Bolt is banked. And Escobar seemed to be getting that final bot. This is looking a whole lot like set 5 is coming up very shortly, guys. All they need is a hit or two with any of their brawlers. And there you more than have it. Match point for Esco. PA still in the mix. Very much so, but now it's all tied up. And that 2-0 lead that PA built up, it's thrown out of the window. And that is going to make things complicated for the least, pressure-wise at least. Did he tell me how I can participate in the next competition? I'm from Algeria, BC. Now, I'm not entirely sure if your country is supported, but I would go to the GameStars website and see over there, you know, if there's any news for anything. That's kind of how I would approach it. A bit of a replay here. As we can see, PA gave up. They knew it was over. They had no other choice, to be fair. Lawrence takes a bit of damage there as well, goes down, and it doesn't really matter too much. Escobar take the win, and that is what counts. And they definitely deserve to. They got a lot more damage on the Ike. They had almost triple the kills, and they had close to double the damage as well. That's impressive, for the least. Scared tanking the Mark II? Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Oh wait, he tanked it for the siege bot. Okay, then it's not that tough. It's pretty good overall. I would say, unless the bot is already low, then it's pretty good overall. Means my boy the bot can push. But guys, Gem Fort is where this is all gonna be ending for the group stage. We've had a tight match here. Start off with Escobar. It's a bit of a game they stole, then Palm Angels take a game of Hanzo and they kind of steal and make it a set of their own. And then they build up from there, and eventually it's double match point. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there's only one way to settle double match points, guys. It's violence in Brawl. Oh, I forgot the name of the facility, like of the whole amusement park. Brawl. It's not Star Park. Jesus Christ, my memory is taking a hit. I'm trying to make puns that I am not capable of making. That is not the best plan. When I wish these tournaments were hosted for other regions like SCSA too. We can talk a private little bit about what you know exists and what I know exists, but I don't want to obviously be promoting here. That doesn't make the most sense. Lola Sandy Mag. Lola is a band, by the way. Lola is a band. As a reminder, bands are Rico, Lola, and I cannot be bothered to think, Lou, and Spike. But yeah, I wish we had tournaments like this for every region. That would be wild. That would be wild. I want LAN tournaments, man, especially the inter-regional ones, you know? Like some teams flying from some other continents. It's so fun to watch. The stakes are different. Could Lou ban have been both for Hanzo and Siege? I don't think so. I don't think so. We really don't see the Lou being played much at all at the moment in Siege. So it seems unlikely to me. Are you Netherlands or are you Nederlands? Yes, I am Nederlands. But people are gonna mock my accent again. Oh, we see the cactus. The cactus is banned anymore. The cactus sadly is banned. Exactly, Banana. I agree. I feel like Lou is really not in the meta. I think it can do okay in certain situations, but it's really hard to pull off. I think it would it's one of those brawlers that could work really well in something like PL or like draft, right? All right, fighting for the match point. And so far it's going a little bit better for Esco, but not by the longest way. Lawrence and Carol find a kill on the mag on the right side. Charlotka getting shut down, gonna fall. And the gem economy from Escobar is starting to thrive as they're building up more and more of a lead and need to be careful here. Pool connects onto Razor, he goes down. Shadow is gonna go on the hunt, but only gets one tag onto Goga. Carol gonna pump his super, gonna basically lock the right lane, but actually Goga can sneak up on the right side. Carol gets pulled with all the gems, they all drop down. That's a disaster for Esco, but they're able to still survive nevertheless. PA failing to really follow up with that pool. That was huge. That was the gems drop on their side of the map. Razor here goes down without getting the kill, so it's not even going to interrupt the timer, give some more time for his teammates to respawn, and surely this is going to be match point coming up for Escobar and getting dangerously close from closing out this match and knocking PA out of the tournament. Wow, what a match this is so far. And Escobar, do not fail to disappoint? Wait, do not fail to disappoint, does that mean that... I'm getting confused because fail is like negative, but do not is like do is positive, fail not is negative. They do not fail to disappoint. Does that mean that they disappoint us? Or does that mean that they like satisfy us, that we're happy with the match? Teach me English in chat, guys. Let's Google that up. Never fails to disappoint means someone always acts the way one expects them to. All right. Oh no, so it is kind of negative. It is negative. So it's not what I wanted to say. It is not good to say. So they are living up to expectations, not failing to disappoint. They are living up to expectations. That's what we're going for, boys. They are living up for the expectations. Palm Angels need to clutch up. They need to clutch up. I was getting confused because it was there like it's positive, then negative, then positive, then negative. So which is it in the end? But that's just my non-native English-speaking caster stories. The main story here is Palm Angels versus Escobar. And the match point now in the hand of the Dutch. Razor gets taken out by Scared. Charlotka going quite aggressive here. Goga gonna get knocked back. And no one is picking up those gems so far. And I don't know if that's the way to go, but it does mean that they can commit quite a bit. Eventually here, Carol gonna go for some gems, and we'll be at 7 now already. Blind pull there from Scarlet, maybe a little bit optimistic, not gonna find any connections. Charlotka is able to deal as a shadow without too much of a worry. Oh, Lawrence barely wins that fight. Charlotka is gonna get melted down as well. Razor does have the pool, 9 gems, but a full miss pull there from Razor, not even close. Maybe auto aim, but because everyone was in bushes, no one was detected, and it just threw it kind of randomly. But that's the countdown for Escobar. Palm Angels, they got a couple of seconds to try to interrupt it. Charlotka has a chance here. Can he make it work? Carol cannot be stopped. And Escobar make it through. The Dutch will see the international finals. GG's. GG's. Yeah, I lost my English, Andrew. I lost my English. Don't, forgive me, guys. Forgive me. It's been a long week. It's been a long day for me as well. And English sometimes comes very naturally, sometimes not quite as much. It's still a work in progress, trying to learn some new sayings, trying to experiment a little bit and, you know, just enrich my vocabulary a little bit more. And that means once in a while we're going to make a mistake. But to be fair, I did spot my mistake, right? I questioned it. I wasn't too sure about it. I asked you guys. That's the nice thing about experiences like solo casting in this games. But we can talk about this another time. Focusing really on what happened here. Escobar closing it out 3-2 in sets. That was an incredibly close match, but Escobar just barely pulled through and they make it work. Sadly enough, that means that Palm Angels, this is going to be the end of their journey in the season of GameStars. They had some great attempts. Remember, they beat Escobar in the group earlier, but in the final stage, in the decider, it is going to be Escobar to take revenge. It was 3-2 for Palm Angels. It's 3-2 now for Escobar. That is a nice revenge story with a little bit of a poetic feel to it as well, as they give them a taste of their own medicine, barely winning the match. Although stats-wise, if you look at the stats, it's twice the kills. Twice the kills here on the side of Escobar Knockers, despite it being 3-2 in sets. That's impressive. And sure, Escobar Knockers, they absolutely pumped off in Jam Grab, got kills after kills after kills, and it wasn't close in Jam Grab, but for the rest, it was so close. It was so close. I have that USA advantage. I feel you. I feel you. Your name sounded kind of American already. But that's a nice thing about all of this, right? We get to interact with people from the community, learn new things about Brawl Stars, about English, all that stuff. Most people watching are not native English speakers, so everyone can learn their fair share of stuff. But here is a bit of a look at the different groups, or at least for Group G, right? Escobar, they make it through. They had a rough path. They lose the first match. They go to the elimination match. They win it 3-1. And now barely win against Palm Angels to secure their spot for the international finals. Big Clan already qualified as well. They took down Palm Angels in the winners match already a couple days ago. So good stuff there from Big, looking strong. But Escobar definitely was a very deserved win here. It was close, but they made it work. So GG's well played. Sadly, that means we'll say goodbye to Palm Angels, as well as Tivium and Lixa for the rest of this season. They definitely had some great performances here and there, but they couldn't quite make it all the way to the international finals. Instead, it's going to be FA Scarlet Stars, Final Stand, and Escobar Knockers to join the playoffs instead. Congratulations to all the teams that qualified. We actually know all the different teams that qualified. If you guys want to be a bit more up to date with who do you expect to see at the playoffs, or who qualified, make sure you guys check around the Twitter for GameStars. All the details are over there. You'll have all the different brackets for the different groups, and you'll have the full list of everyone for the playoffs and all the news for the rest of the season. There is a 1 week left here in the second week of GameStars, and then it's not only going to be the end of the season of GameStars, but pretty much the end of the competitive year for Brawl Stars. So excited about that. We'll be starting on Tuesday, pretty much same time as usual, but make sure once again to check around the GameStars socials to be up to date. And I'll be duo casting with Ready Set to make sure that we give you guys the best show possible, and I can't wait to get to it. I love my man Ready. It's going to be a ton of fun, and the playoffs are going to be stacked. There's going to be so many great teams, some underdog teams in there as well, as we saw here, a couple, that you wouldn't necessarily typically expect to make it this far, but that made it this far. So excited to see all of that, all of those local teams maybe shining, or some of the favorites showing us the best Brawl Stars we've ever seen. But that is going to be starting Tuesday, and I'll see you guys by then. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in a couple days.
Brawlers! This showdown will make history! Best teams from Russia, Ukraine, Poland, France and Turkey, winners of the Open qualifiers and top 8 invited teams will meet in the final battle for the champion title and a bounty of $10,000. Join the stream on December the 7th. Don't miss out on the epic international group stage of GameStars Brawl Stars Season 2.
Bye.